What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Whiskey RP. It is March. We had a good winter, a good time off, but it's time to get some grass in the ground. In April, I think we're going to do soybeans next door. We need to look at the calendar, though. Let's get this grass planted. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We did talk about trying to be able to get barley in the ground by the fall. So we want to make sure we pick the right crop type that'll enable us. And if we just have no crop until then, that might be the plan. But I do want to look at the schedule, see how things do grow in this county, and figure that out afterwards. But we'll get this grass going. Definitely looking forward to seeing how much better it yields. I did debate between doing alfalfa and grass, and to be honest with you, we're just not familiar with alfalfa, and I don't want to make any mistakes here like I've done in the past, and we want to just make sure we're doing the right thing. We have fertilizer in here and seed. We did purchase this seeder for $6,000. It is ours. This is one of those that's kind of modular, so we could add another one to it and have them side by side and double the width, but right now for the field sizes that we have, I felt like this was the best approach. It was a pretty good price for what we're getting here, and I don't think you can really beat $6,000 to start with a seeder. And I mean, that's barely the amount that we're spending on leasing the bigger ones, but this one does do fertilizer and it does the seed, so we can do that all in one step. The next thing we will have to figure out, not for this field but for the field to the right, we will get weeds, so we will have to figure out a way to treat the weeds, whether that's some type of hoe to take care of it, a weeder to take care of it, or some liquid herbicide. And with the headlands done, we're starting the ups and downs now and making pretty good time. Moving 15 miles an hour right now. This seeder is able to handle that. It's looking good. And 88% seed used so far, my dashboard's telling me, and 76% fertilizer. I think we'll have to probably top off on fertilizer, but I think seed will be fine. We do have some stored back by the sheep right now. The sheep, they're goats. In the sheep pen, the goats do have it. We have a little bit of extra that didn't fit in the seeder. We did buy one bag of seed and one bag of solid fertilizer. So we should be good for this planting session. The next one, depending on what crop type we pick, is one I'm kind of thinking we probably are going to need a little more seed and fertilizer for, but making good time. Just going to do these ups and downs. We'll get some of these spots that we're missing when we get done at the end. We definitely want all of this to be grass. Want to make sure it all gets planted. I'll see you on the other side. What a great seeder here. We got a couple spots that we missed, you can see there, and then we'll have to go down to the bottom of the field as well and get that. A couple spots down there, but overall, this grass is going to be planted and it's ready. We don't have to do anything else to this field. Every time we cut it moving forward, we'll want to reapply some lime and a little bit of fertilizer just to make sure the grass keeps growing in good. And like we mentioned earlier, that's probably a temporary field. Once we feel like our income is consistent enough, we'll start building the farmyard here and get some, some concrete down, maybe some gravel. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, and some structures to store our equipment. I don't want to go much longer without the equipment getting stored, but let's head on in back to, I guess, where we're storing them over here by the goats. We'll take a look at them. They didn't go through much food over winter, which was kind of refreshing, but it's making me think we don't have enough. They're getting there. It's going to be a little bit before they actually produce any milk for us. You can see they're getting a little bit bigger. Not a lot. We can see them now. They were hidden in the tall grass here in the meadow, but they're looking pretty good. They're getting a little bit taller. And we can fit 62 more in this pen, so it is tempting. Not getting a lot of use out of you. You weren't expensive, though, so that's not bad. But looking at this calendar that was shared to me by a few guys in town, this is the planting schedule here. And if we're looking for something that would allow us to still plant in September or October, corn's not going to work. Corn you don't harvest until October, so we'd have to instantly flip the field. We could do that, but that would be a lot of stress. Not the most ideal thing to do. Soybeans we could harvest in October as well. Sorghum we could plant in April and harvest in August. That's an option. But I think we might have solved our problem. We can plant wheat and we can plant barley in the spring here. I'm glad I looked at this. There is no issue. There is nothing to stress about. We got plenty of food for the sheep. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of relax. And I'll see you in April. You know what they say, April showers bring May flowers, and boy, is it coming down. And there is no give in sight. We have no option but to plant the wheat in the rain. Barley, I meant to say barley. We will top up with our seed and fertilizer before we get started. This field is a little bit bigger. But yeah, look at our grass. It's coming in nice. Everything's looking good. We're looking at all the data. Don't understand some things I'm seeing here, but looking good. Couple spots show no nitrogen, but we'll see how it looks in, May, maybe June. June might be the time when we actually do the first cut on that, but let's go ahead and get these bags, and I think I can carry the seed. It wasn't very heavy. Yeah, we can definitely pick that up, and I'll just dump it in there. I guess you can't do that with these bags, can you? And we do have all the fertilizer that we have, so that might be an issue. We might need to call the dealership up and get a little bit delivered to us. But away we go. It is a little muddy, so it might take a little bit more time to do this, and it's, not ideal conditions for planting, but we'll make do. Boy, we're making good time here, and the seed rate is pretty low for barley on this soil type, so we might have enough seed. And fertilizer also, remembering that we have pretty good soil type here, so we're not using as much fertilizer as I thought we would either. We are down to 25%, it's showing me on the dial here. And we have more than, 25% of the field left, so it's going to be super close. We probably will have to drive into town. I couldn't get a hold of anybody at the dealership, so we might utilize that trip to figure out something for the weeds, too, while we're there. Either way, we're going to the store later today after seeding or when we run out of fertilizer, whichever one comes first. It looks like we are gonna run out of fertilizer. I'm hoping I can get to the end of this pass before it runs out, but I am gonna drive over to the truck. No way I'm running in this rain. I'll get soaked by the time I get over to the truck. We will drive over there, and then we're gonna head into town. We're gonna get a bag of fertilizer, and we're gonna see about a way to treat the weeds, and I think I wanna avoid herbicide if I can. In tradition of the way we do things around the whiskey distillery and the way we want our goods to be grown and as natural as possible, we believe in doing that for the taste and the flavor and the quality, really. So let's go ahead and park as close as I can get to the truck so I can rush on over there. And I'm gonna jump in the passenger side here. Got stuck behind the slow car on the way in here. Luckily our turn's coming up, so we don't have to worry about them anymore. And we've arrived. Hope that garage is open, because I feel like this rain is just insane. Yeah, I'm just gonna park right here. Hope they don't mind. All right, we spent about $37,000 right now. 38,000 almost. And they're gonna get these loaded up for us next so we can get them home. Let's take a look at this up close. They brought it out here, and then I asked them to put it on my trailer, so. Let's see, we got the Pottinger here. The Rotocare. It's working with is 12.5 meters, so that should be pretty good. All right, it's all loaded up. We did have them push it all the way close to the tailgate as we could, just to balance the weight out a little bit better. A little concerned about getting home in these conditions with this trailer, so I wanted to have the weight distributed as good as possible there to give us a chance to succeed. We'll make sure we do these. Oh, that's a car. These turns wide enough. I didn't see him coming. Did you see him coming? I even looked that way. You know, one of my favorite parts of moving to a new town and getting to know it is when you first do a drive like this, you feel a little overwhelmed in how far it feels. And the more familiar everything starts feeling to you. We need a tow truck. As I was saying, the more things feel familiar to you, the shorter those drives end up feeling long term. So I feel like that's about where we are. Just gotta make sure we turn safely with this trailer. It's starting to feel like home is what I'm trying to say. Well, the rain has lightened up a little bit at least. I think we're gonna go ahead and take care of these things right now though. You never know when we're gonna need the truck, and I'd rather get this stuff off the trailer than it just sit on the trailer today. All right, hopefully we don't have any issues backing up this. Looking good. I was a little concerned about weight on this, but I think we're good. So we're gonna place this down over here. Not gonna use it quite yet. We still gotta finish getting the barley planted, but thought I'd have it in the proximity. All right, let's go get the seeder. Get this job all finished. There we go, back at it. Just a couple more passes to do. Really excited. Man, I didn't realize we could plant barley in the spring. I love it. Another awesome layer of realism. Thank you, DJ Modding. Plenty of seed. We need a pressure washer. We got to get some way to clean our equipment. The rain did a good job, but we still got some mud on these things that I would love to get off of them. Brand new seeder. Got to take care of it. All right, and that should conclude spring planting. We will want to at least go over that field with the weeder, and then we'll see. Oh no, okay, we gotta fix that. I forgot this was a direct drill, guys. So this little spot here is gonna be a little bit off, but let's go ahead and lock in. We'll fix it with grass. Let's get up about right there. We'll go ahead and lower it and do just a small section that we ruined. That's all right. Not too bad of a concern there. I'm glad we noticed that though. I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, we will take care of the weeds next. We're just gonna back this up next to the bales. I guess next to the spreader. Let's go ahead and just wobble it back here. Straighten her out. There we go. It's a good home for it for now. Yeah, we need to start getting a little bit more of our own equipment. Saving up for a baler. We definitely need to save up for a grain cart and a harvester at this point. Yeah, I don't know how to prioritize it. We've been so busy over here. I'm not going to be able to do any contracts in town for extra money. The next money we're looking at is, gosh, what, June? No, July? And that'll give us money for the silage we're going to cut. And away we go. Same issue with the rain. I guess this still might create somewhat of a tram line here. I hope it doesn't. I hope the crop's still able to grow where we're driving. Should be okay. And hopefully this does take care of the weeds and doesn't pick up the seed too much. It's just the way our tires are sinking. It's kind of got me worried. It'll be fine. From time to time, I do want to put in a question of the day for the channel. And the question I want to ask now, and potentially the question of the week, maybe we'll ask it in multiple videos and get a good amount of feedback and then discuss that somehow later on. What is your preferred style of starting a new playthrough in Farming Simulator? Do you like starting with no equipment? Do you like starting with no money? Do you prefer to try out, the startups that the map creators set for you, the starter maps, the starter farms? There's all kinds of options out there. I'd love to hear the comments about it. You could, if you're on PC, you could be able to cheat in money to be able to get all the equipment you want, all the farmland you want, start your own farm that way, and, start your playthrough as an established farm. Yeah, I would love some comments about that, and who knows, there might be a video discussing the results. Man, it did end up feeling like a pretty productive day. The rain is still here, but it's not as hard as it was earlier, and the ground really did need all the moisture, so not really going to complain. We need the water for the crops to grow, and hopefully this takes care of all the weeds, but with the amount of rain we've been getting, I'm a little concerned that this type of treatment's not going to be enough for this field, but only time will tell, right? It is June, bright and early. We're here on the farm. We got everything lined up and organized. I think that's where our first shed's gonna go. I think I've decided over the last few months of just kind of showing up and checking on things and making sure the goats are fed and they have not gone through those bales at all. I love them. We do have our first little bit of milk coming in. Not super fast, but it's starting. So that's some money. Oh, look at this. Look at this sorghum over here. Almost looked like corn to me. Look at that beautiful sorghum. Gonna be ready in a month or so. Our grass field is ready to cut. We're gonna be doing that today. Getting our first look. Look at this barley field. My goodness. Expected yield 122. Yield possible 125. I think we nailed it. And forgive me if I didn't mention why this baler's here when we're driving up. The dealership did drop it off. We did lease this. And there is someone that's going to show up and help operate that for us today while we cut the grass. So we're going to get this done super fast today. And off we are. Cutting our grass for the first time. We got the baler coming behind us. We'll have to make sure everything's going good with the operator. But I think we want to probably go a little bit slower so they can keep up. We don't want to get too far ahead of them. Start driving all over. We might run over a bunch of bales. We'll have to see if we're gonna have to take breaks here. And I think they're making one now. But let's go ahead and make sure we're staying on course here. Yeah, they're cruising. Let's go ahead and stop right here. And it is dropping the bales and wrapping them. What a good worker there. All right, time for us to bust this out. And this is such an enjoyable way to do this. Having a worker with us, helping us out. Can't beat it. Makes me miss Bobby though. Well, we almost beat the rainstorm. We are on the last pass here. The grass shouldn't get too wet, especially since we're baling it right away. I think we'll be okay with just this sprinkle. It's not coming down too hard yet. Lots of bales out here, lots of money that we're gonna make in July from that. Quite exciting. I love doing it this way. I only have to do this one time. I don't have to come over all the swaths and bale them. Having employees is the best. We have to get to know this gentleman as well. Over time we will. And trying to get into a better habit of putting our equipment away. Even though they don't have cover, I think it's better for it to be there. All right, let's get them done for the day. I don't know if this grass field was really worth it. We got all the bales loaded up here. I just don't know if that was worth it. It's not the best result. We did have the dealership drop off a little bit of lime and fertilizer. Just still debating, like, was this worth it? But you know what? It is here. It is what it is. No reason to dwell on it. Let's go ahead and get lined up here. Get it activated and get some lime applied. We definitely need it. It'll help with the yield. You know, it'll keep us getting that same yield every time at minimum. And just having to put, you know, 0.88 tons per hectare. It's not a lot of lime we're going through. I did overbuy, but I felt like it was time to get a little bit of an inventory over here so we don't have to constantly get a hold of the dealership, since we'll be cutting this every, you know, 3 months or so. At least this time of year. I'm hoping we'll probably only get 2 cuts out of it this year, but potentially 3 next year. And used about 1,300 just around the headland there. So we will fill this back up, and that should do it. This 2,000 we're putting in here should be more than enough. And then we'll have to do the same with fertilizer next. But it feels pretty good to, you know, take care of our own fields and not be doing contracts. I do enjoy the extra money from that, but it's so much more enjoyable when it's your own property and you can see your future being built. And all complete with, you know, about 900 liters left in here. Can't beat that. Whoa. Don't do that, guys. I think we'll leave these bags of lime right here. I know it doesn't need a lot of fertilizer either, so 2,000 was probably too much, but like I said, we'll get a little inventory here. And away we go. I love the way it turns it to that nice dark color. The rain's helping with that as well, so hopefully a pretty good yield next time as well. Applying 600 and about 50 kilograms per hectare right now. We are turning it green this time, so using a little more than I expected. Last time when we planted it only turned it orange because it thinks it's wheat for some reason. So I am applying the wrong amount of fertilizer for grass. Let's go ahead and stop. Let's see if we can figure that out. Yeah, I'm not positive or I don't know if I need a different piece of equipment to get it to recognize the soil or the crop type here. Say no crop type detected. This, you know, precision farming stuff's so new to me. In this county, the way they do it, for best results, use target for wheat. So it thinks it's wheat for some reason. So I imagine that means we could probably go a couple cycles without putting fertilizer down after this. I mean, I imagine that's got to be the way it works, right? And due to that fact, we did use all the fertilizer, or pretty much all the fertilizer we bought. Looking amazing though. And we can just store this in here for now, put a lid on it, and I'll keep it safe. But that is all the time we have for Whiskey RP today, guys. I am Socksway Up. Thanks for hanging out. Next episode, we are absolutely getting to our first harvest of our own crop. I'll catch you on the next one.